Let's get down to business. I'm not playing games. This is for real serious. Wendy Williams, a lot of people have issue with her, and I have an issue with her, but it only goes so far because she's got issues, and there's a difference between having issues and, it only goes so far to excuse your actual personality slash or your actions. Now, Wendy Williams is good at her job. Her job is to get the scoop and get it out to the people. That is her job. That has been her job for years. She has never taken these many days off, except when she was in the sober house. And I know that was hard for her to put out there because she's known for getting people's dirt, and she basically had a dirt on herself. And I respect her for that. I feel like it's better to someone come out and say what's wrong than other people to speculate what's wrong, unless it's something horrible. Then you take it to your grave, I guess. But the new Wendy Williams documentary, if I'm going to review it in this video, I'm going to say it's bad. I'm sorry. I don't know what it is about. The only person who could have made it believable, not believable, I don't think there's anything that was horrible that was in there. She showed rape. She showed, horrible things. She showed assault. But it just seemed like it was quick. It was too fast. Just thinking about every other person's, even Lucille Ball's documentary. I feel like it's easier to do a documentary about someone who's passed away because there's no holds barred. But Wendy, I know for a fact she took some things and didn't put them in there. For one, probably I'm not saying this is for everyone. I'm saying this is for Wendy specifically. She was probably assaulted more than once. More than once. The way she made this, it was like she only had one hook. She always talked about how her parents were really good to her, but then now she was abused, and she was only able to eat mustard or mayo or something in a bag with some tuna fish and stuff and grapes, because she was getting overweight. And rather than actually just looking at the food she was eating and regulating it and regulating her intake of sugar, they decided to go the retarded route and just give her little small things that no child should have to live off of because they're growing. It didn't stop Wendy from growing, but she also has a problem. There's a problem with her. She's got issues health issues. And I think it's horrible that people talk bad about her parents, because a lot of that has to do with her health issues. She's got lymphedema, I think, and she's got something else she's got Graves' disease, I think. And that has to do with her eyes. The lymphedema has to do with her legs. And those are the two things that people make fun of her about. And it's just Jack, just freaking stop. It's one thing. There's this guy from 90 Day Fiance. His name is Ed. He's got a disorder or some type of health thing to make him look like Humpty Dumpty. The reason why no one cares about calling him Humpty Dumpty and being horrible is because he's horrible himself. And I get why people are doing the same to Wendy, because she's done that. But I feel like she doesn't do that to people. It seems like she does that to people in the eye, like regular people. I feel like she was the people's court, kind of, because she was never starstruck. She treated them like equals and talked to them like equals when they felt like they weren't equal, which brought them down to size, which is always a good thing to do to celebrities. Now, like I said, it seems to me that there's a lot missing in this documentary, that including a lot of her life. It was kind of just she was in a chair and she busted it and she was just big, and that was it. That was the extent of her childhood. I didn't really get that she was abused, even though I know she was because she said that she was. And abuse doesn't have to be you get punched out or you get sexually assaulted. Abused can literally mean you were put into your closet all day and night with no food or water. You were deprived of something, or you were isolated. That's literally abuse. It does not have to be physical, and it can have physical consequences as well, which we lead into Kevin. Now, she's still trying to protect him. In the movie, she's like, oh, well, it's not the woman's fault, it's the guy's fault. But she still insists on making it the woman's fault. There are 3 pillars, or there are 3 steps of how it's not a woman's fault. Until you stepped on all 3 of these steps, it's not a woman's fault, it is a man's fault only. It can be a woman's fault and a man, but it cannot be the woman's fault only. It will never be the woman's fault only, unless it's the woman that owes you the relationship. Now, Kevin owed Wendy Williams a relationship. So being in any relationship, whether it be just talking, it's never just talking. It's never just talking. Anyone tell you that? They're lying. Never. You will be a fool. You will be the fool of the ball if you accept any man or woman that says it was just them talking. Okay? A baby is not the last straw. But let me get into the 3 things. So, 1, does the woman know that you're in a relationship? Almost 90% of these relationships where the girl's all like, oh, you have my man? They don't even know they're in another relationship. Or they say, well, we separated, or they say, well, we're not together, or we weren't together today, we were yesterday. Like, it's human nature to tell the truth. It's just human nature. They will say something to where it's kind of like the truth, but not really. And that's how you know they're not telling the truth. If there's no easy yes, no answers, they're not telling the truth. That you do not have to go all the way around the house to get into the house. Go straight through the door. You do not have to go all the way around it to go through the front door. Just yes, no. And if you have to ask, and you have to super sleuth and snoop around and figure out what's going on and look at his text messages, maybe you should not be with him. Maybe there are 10 billion other men out there. Stop letting one bring you down because one time, maybe sometime he let you have the last of his, like, ice cream or something. Like, it's not worth it. And I see that Wendy is very much still attached to Kevin. Very much so. And it infuriates me because women, we have got to stop. We have to be stronger than that. We have to be. We live in a patriarchy. We've been living in it for a very long time. Though there are some women, Anglo-Saxon women, who can navigate through the patriarchy a little bit higher than the rest of us. Wendy Williams, despite how light you are, you're black. You're black. We can't do this. No, ma'am. When I saw your after show or whatever after your documentary, it kind of infuriated me to hear that you're still thinking about him. You got things that remind you of him. You still have the sentiment. You're like, oh, it's always forever. Marriage is not forever. We are mortals, Wendy. We are mortals. We could have many lovers in our lifetime. It's best to do what makes you happy. And if to make you happy is to have one person to bear your son, and that one person you chose was obsolete, then you collect yourself, however long it takes, and move on. Kevin is not worth even thinking about him still. You're in your own house. Stop thinking about him. And stop protecting him. Because she said something that was really interesting. She said, oh, well, he will go down. Like, she said something, I don't know the specific quote at all. I'm paraphrasing a lot here. But she said something around the lines of, I will never say or admit that Kevin beat me, or I was never a battered wife. First of all, yes, you were. She said that, oh, I fell on my own. It wasn't him that broke my arm. Why did we need that context? Unless the people that were asking you questions said, did he break your arm? That made no sense to say in that instance. And she can claim that all she wants. I don't believe it. I will not believe it if she claims it. She, like I said, the human condition is to always tell the truth. When we go against that condition, our body will try to slip us up and say the truth anyway. She was trying to say he pushed her and she broke her arm. But what she said for real was she broke her own arm by falling. Why did he need to be in that sentence at all? If it was her, and then she cried about it. Yeah, it's traumatic, but why would you cry about breaking your own arm when your arm is healed now? She cried because it was traumatic. It was abuse. He is an abuser, physically and mentally. No doubt did he say, oh, it's over, it's over. And when women say, I'm going to leave you, you have to do it. I said that. I've done it before. I've done it quite a few times. This happens, I'm done. This happens, I'm done. That's it. There's no, maybe we can be friends. No, we cannot. There are so many people on this earth. I do not need to be friends with you. There are so many men on this earth. I do not need to have sex with you. No reason whatsoever. I know Wendy has had some issues because she says things that sometimes may not be true. They're just the word on the street. But she is still dealing with trauma from her past, from her parents. And now that her mother has passed away, she has no closure with her. So if she had an issue with her, she did not get that accomplished. It seems like that's one more thing that's on her table. And she's got a brother who's saying things and she's saying things about him. It's just not cool. The only thing I can say about Wendy is she needs to stop putting black women under the bus. It's popular to make black women the butt of jokes. I.e. Tyler Perry, i.e. Martin Lawrence, i.e. Will Smith. Like, all these black men, like, maybe because Wendy had proximity to her husband and he was horrible. I'm not saying all black men are horrible at all by any means. I'm saying this is the pattern. All these men who are popular, Kevin Hart hasn't done that yet, I don't think. But I'm pretty sure he has on his show, on his, not like he's got any show because he's not funny. On his stand-up, he makes fun of black women. Like, all these black men will make fun of black women. Like, even those black, what's that dude? King Batch, making fun of black women. Like, they always have to use black women to get themselves hired. They cannot be funny without black women. Like I said a long time ago, I don't remember which video, but I said Tyler Perry would be nowhere, if not the bottom of the barrel, if not for Medea. His movies are not that great. Some are even terrible. A Fall from Grace, please. He needs to stop bragging about how he does things on his own because it just goes to show. It just goes to show. We could have at least said it was somebody, it stopped down the middle, like something got lost in translation. It's all you, Butterball. It's all you. But let me digress real quick. So Wendy Williams, it's just, I feel like I said, there's a lot missing in this documentary. It wasn't long enough. The actress was really good, and that whole falling scene, I don't know why people laugh at it. It really isn't funny. And maybe it's because I've seen people pass out and seen people actually like fall out, and not because of drugs, because I know for a fact Wendy fell out because of drugs, because ironically enough, she talked about falling out before. with cocaine or whatever she was snorting, whatever it was. So when she fell out as the Statue of Liberty, it was because she had whatever she had when she said she fell out the first time. That's it, because she spoke it out of her mouth. She tried to hide the truth, and she actually told on herself. And then she's talked about how she wasn't an addict. She quit in 4 days. Just because you quit in 4 days doesn't make you not an addict. She just doesn't want to be called an addict because she feels like it makes her superior, and it's not it's something innate in our bodies. We don't want there to be a problem. We don't want to have flaws, but we are mortals. We're imperfected beings. We're imperfected beings. Like, there's no reason for Wendy to feel ashamed to be an addict, because that's what she was. It actually hurts her for not saying. It hurts the people who are trying to get out of it, because it's like, so am I never going to get out of it because I'm an addict? Like, it would have been it would have been quite great for her community of people who have been in the circle and drugs. You are not a crack addict on the street, Wendy. No, you have a lot more money than on the street. If that makes you feel that way, then you need to figure out why you feel that way. But not being honest, it's a disservice to you, and it's a disservice to people who are also trying to quit. Because they look at you and you say you're not an addict, and they already are in their mind, because they've got people around them calling them addict. It's either they're going to lie and say they're not an addict and still keep going, or they're going to feel terrible about themselves and ultimately end their lives. So I feel like that's just jacked to say that you're not an addict, you quit in 4 days. That's great that you quit in 4 days, but you have to admit the fact that you were addicted. You don't do drugs for a fun time. There's something in your life that you're trying to, she said she had to stay up. So I understand why she would take crank or something to make her keep awake at night, because she had a schedule I don't think at night, but depending on who you are, but in the morning is like where people will always listen to your radio. She was like at 1 o'clock, 1 to 3 or something, or 3 to 6, something. It was just like a really jacked up schedule to where she would have to be up all day and up all night. Ironic. Like, it's just like terrible. And I know they did that because she was ethnic, but I completely get why she would need drugs, or why she felt she needed drugs, because she was being asked a lot of, and she's got people trying to fight her and stuff like that. It's just, I feel bad for Wendy more than anything. And one big issue I have with her, one huge issue, is she doesn't leave black girls alone. Like, it's one of those, I call it Tyra Banks syndrome. When a black woman goes through all the traumas and trials and tribulations that every black woman goes through, light, dark, fat, skinny, and once in your life, it will happen, and it will keep perpetuating. And they get through it and they're successful. And then they turn around and see all these other black girls and all these young faces and say, well, I had to go through it, so you're going to have to go through it too. And that's not something that's just innate in black women. It's in it can be in every person, but this is just the Tyra Banks syndrome that I'm talking about right now. Tyra Banks was horribly unfair to black women on America's Next Top Model, to the point where I could barely watch it. And it's like, she's one of those, she's like, you have to be better. And I say you have to be better because this is the society we're in. But she didn't say that to the girls, to any other girls. And she definitely didn't say it to the black guys either. Like, she was just, the bias is there. The bias is there. If you were blind and you couldn't tell, you would just assume that she was a white guy or Anglo-Saxon woman. Anybody, like, the way that she treated them, it was just so disrespectful and so horrible. And it's because she was dealt that hand, so she was trying to deal that hand to everyone else. It's our job to make sure that the people behind us don't struggle as much as we do. That's how we make progress. We will never make progress if we keep having to go through the same steps. We go through those steps, or the people before us go through those steps so that we don't have to. Honestly. So it's kind of gross that Wendy, like, is so harsh. And she talks about baby mamas and this, that, and the other and harlots. And she's usually talking about black women. Usually. And it's kind of like annoying. Because she's a black woman. It's just like, cut them some slack. How about be harder on everyone else? But she doesn't. She does it because she knows that it makes more money. But, like, I don't really know how much more to say. Like I said, the actress in the biopic or whatever was brilliant. She didn't have enough chest for me when she got her breast enlarged. Did not have enough breast for me. But she was great other than that. Like, she acted really well. I want to see her in more things. I don't think it should stop at Wendy. I think she should keep going. I've never seen her before, ever. If I have, she was a background character of someone I didn't know. But she's a black woman who deserves to keep working in Hollywood. I'm sick of seeing bottom of the barrel, loosey-goosey, good-for-nothing Anglo-Saxon men keep getting roles when they're just like losers. They're just like losers and can't act. They can barely act the way they do, and they like high profile because they're Anglo-Saxon, like. And people, the little guy, they don't get anything, like, because they're either too ethnic or too woman. Honestly, people talk about how the difference in the wages aren't, like, that's a myth. That is a myth. The wage is different between woman and man, which makes no sense. If anything, women should get paid more because women give birth. We should be getting paid leave to give birth to a child who is ultimately going to make the company money by buying or by doing whatever thing that the service, like, honestly. But whatever. So recently, Lamar or whatever was on Wendy, and I don't know if I said before, she's far too nice to black men and far too hard on black women. She's got the Tyra Banks syndrome, which I really didn't see string towards black men, but she didn't really have much of a choice because America's Next Top Model was for like women until she actually did The Boys, and then I don't know how many times she did that. I just saw one season. And you know what? I think it was true as well, because there was this guy who, he was ethnic. I think he was like runner up, but he was really, really strange looking. He was super strange looking. I don't know. I think it's 2-0. I think it's the 20th season or whatever. Well, the one with Renee tried to make her out to be the villain when that girl who won that was blonde taking everyone's phone time. She straight up. I'm getting off topic, but Wendy, she just loves to cradle and coddle. Like, look at that Lamar interview. She's like, I love your kids because they're yours. Like, and here's the whole thing about Wendy doing her job. Like I said, she does her job very well. She is very good at her job, what her job is. And with that being said, I know in order to do some jobs, one must take liberties. One must deal with celebrities who may or may not talk to you if you do certain things. And the Kardashians are a bunch of simps. Kourtney simped for Scott, all their relationship and all after. They really shouldn't be in the same room. He's like, oh, I love hanging out with the kids. Scott Dipstick, he straight up walks into their house like he owns it and I know it's on TV, and I know they probably rehearsed it and they probably did all that and whatnot, but it's just honestly, if we're going by what we see and we're not taking that into account because supposedly it's not edited, let's just take it like how they think and how they want us to take it. And if they want us to take it like that, we can. And so I will take it like that. And so Scott on the show treated Courtney like crap, throwing things, breaking glass, and then telling Chloe she needs to get right because she's got anger issues when he's the one breaking glass in front of his son, Mason. Mason looks just like him, and hopefully, hope to God, kiss it to God, that he doesn't end up like Scott Disick. Like, because he is so gross. I know his name is Scott Disick before someone get in the comments like, oh, you're saying his name wrong. I'm saying it like that purposefully because I don't like him and he's not cool. So I'm going to do that. He straight up, like, this is whole goes back to Wendy because she's being all nicey nice and nice to them and being kind and courteous and not, like, I'm just watching Black China's show recently. And it showed her going to Wendy, and I remember that Wendy when it aired. And Wendy was being very catty. She was being very mean to Black China in a passive aggressive way, and that goes back to her being mean to Black women. And I'm going back to how Lamar was treated very nicely, very kindly for someone who passed out in a brothel and was on drugs. And he was very strange. Like, how are you going to be an adult and act such a way? The way he was acting was very adolescent. Like, he was very, like, juvenile. Very juvenile. To an adult standpoint is horrible. Because the reason why we grow up out of that is because it's very dangerous to have a child, someone with a child's mindset in, you know, the Oval Office behind the gun of a cop or behind a scalpel when you're getting your, like, surgeries. You just can't be that unstable. It's definitely not a critique against mental illness or people who suffer from it. It's, okay, you sit back, you don't do those jobs, and you get help. You acknowledge that you have a problem. But a lot of people will not, and nobody I'm talking about has yet to say that. I might make a Black China video, but I don't know. That whole, I really don't feel like I want to touch on that. Not yet, anyway. I want to see how things develop because as of right now, it's insane over there. But let me get back to the Kardashians. So like I said, first simp on the list, I'm going to skip Kris altogether because I really don't know much about. She's really an enigma. She's kind of like, everyone's like, oh, they made the deal with the devil. I feel like if anyone made the deal with the devil, it was Kris. And I would 100% believe that she made the deal with the devil, or what we would perceive as the devil. An entity in which equal exchange must be made for success. And I think that her children are suffering for it, but they're also wealthy. So it's like, it's an equal exchange. It's literally an equal exchange. Everything that has ever happened, people say it's the Kardashian curse. It's not a curse. It's just equal exchange. For all that wealth, you will have to pay the price, you know. So Courtney simping for Scott Dipstick and allowing him to be around them when he's always talking about, oh, I'm here for the kids, when he's literally sipping martinis and the kids are nowhere to be found. He did that when he was dating that girl that was far too young for him to be dating. I will probably make a video about how I feel about dating gaps. Like, everyone probably goes through a phase where they think that age isn't anything, and that age who should stop beyond 18, 19, because those are crucial times where people are, I really don't believe that, personally, the legal age should be 18 for consent, like just the natural consent, because I was in like South Carolina and I think it was 16, and that's pretty disgusting as it is, but we don't stop developing until 25 as humans. So I really don't understand who came up with this 18 thing. It was some old guy who wanted to be with an 18-year-old girl or younger, and that's why they got 16 in South Carolina. If I were like the old ultra ruler of this place, straight up, it would be 25, and you can go serve your time in my mines if you didn't like it. Or be with someone your own age. If you can't wear, it's something about self-love where you can't be with someone who's around your own age, your peer, where you have to be very, very older than that person so you can manipulate them and basically raise them, which is disgusting because that's your significant other. That's another Sigmund Freud crap thing that you need to deal with on your own and not in a relationship. But let me scoot on back to the Kardashians. So I'm kind of done talking about Kourtney. Khloe, she's simping. This is where it comes from. I'm not really talking about Kim or anything. I could care less about the rest of them. But I was just going down the line to get to Khloe because I have made a simp video. If you want to go find that, I'll probably link it in the description because I'm referring to it. And y'all know that I'm not going to get into everything that Khloe's done, nor does it go into a deep dive. It just kind of talks about simping and how people don't really know the definition. And if they did, they wouldn't be worrying about guy simping because you lose $2 to some streamer that has her breasts out, or you could possibly get killed as a woman who would simp for a man. I don't think the two compare. So, Khloe, straight up, was with Lamar, and he OD'd in a brothel with prostitutes, and you get your money, honestly. Like, hope they robbed him, honestly, because anyone who's doing that, it's just like, oh well. I'm not as support of Cardi B. That wasn't a Cardi B support thing, by the way. Haven't really talked about how I feel about her on this channel. I don't believe, but not a fan. So I just said that because Lamar's such a jerk. On this Wendy thing, she was just like, oh, you're so cool, and this is the whole thing. She stroked his ego, and it's not because she's trying to do her job, which is what I was trying to say. It's not that she was trying to do her job. It was because she's got something in her brain that's telling her that black men, amazing, black woman, disgusting. And she was always taught that as a child. I know she doesn't have to tell me, nor does she'll never admit it. She'll probably go to her deathbed not admitting this. But her parents treated her poorly. She has a low self-esteem, and she is projecting her low self-esteem on black women. And every time she talks about, oh, the baby mamas and this, that, and the other, she gets like bile in her throat when she talks about them and spits it out because she doesn't find any value within black women, i.e. herself. And it's horrible to say, but it's just like, from that thing after the documentary flick, it's just like you can still see that she's broken. And it's not like people always use this and here's where it goes back to Lamar again. How he's got the audacity to say that someone's a lizard person. He literally looks like a lizard. He literally does. Honestly, it's ironic that he says that. It's just like someone said that to him, so he has to say that about his ex-wife or whatever, whoever he was with. And she's someone with some skin tone, and then he's gonna be all nice to Khloe. And I know it's because first she's Anglo, and second she's got more money than all of them. So he's just still trying to get back in that family and get the Kardashian last name so he can get some money and be looking pretty like Kanye. Like if I were a black man, I would do my best to get up in that house too. All Kanye had to do was 7 years, straight up 7 years a slave. And he's got 3 kids with a legacy of they were his biological kids. And straight up, like, he's getting a divorce now. And he talked crap about Amber Rose and despite Kim being like used dishes, as he would say, like he was talking all crap about Amber Rose, he's talking about how she's loose dishes now and divorce time. I don't know how it's going to turn out because he's got mental illness. I'm sure he's going to get the shaft of whatever goes on, and it's not like to help us in any way. So even though you're rich, it only can take you so far. Kim is probably going to get full custody of the kids. I'm sure he doesn't want to raise them anyway. I'm sure he would have a governess take care of them anyway, as I'm sure Kim will. Kim does. They're getting a divorce, and I'm just like, I saw this coming, and there was this woman who was on Dr. Phil that I think she said 7 years, and she was a fortune teller, and Dr. Phil is one of those people that I'm just like, I'll watch you, but I really don't support you 100%, and there's a lot that goes into why I'm iffy about Dr. Phil. Like, sidebar, did y'all know that Robin wasn't his first wife? You saw how they treated Jordan Woods. You saw how they treat the twins. Like, they barely get any screen time, and when they do, it's kind of like they have to talk like this. They have to talk like white girls, when I know they don't sound like that. I know they don't sound like that, but whatever. Play that role for your money, honestly. How much money do they get for every episode they're in? And they're not really in that many episodes. The only choice we have is Rob. Like, Rob the slob. Like, he's literally not doing anything with his life, and look at what he's putting Black China through. No matter what any of these men have done, these black men have done to these Anglo-Saxon women, Courtney, Chloe, Kim, Kendall, and Kylie all still are in good faith with them. Tyga is still someone that is still receiving money because his proximity to them. Black China has gotten nothing but pain and suffering, and one child that he doesn't want to pay child support or do anything for, because he's too busy trying to tear down her image and tear down when she's already got enough problems as it is dealing with her life. Like, honestly, like, Black China got $0 out of this whole engagement with him. Honestly, black women don't have a chance with Rob. He's too far too broken. All he had to do was sit quiet and just let Black China live. He could have been putting money into her music. She could be where Cardi B is right now, and Cardi B wouldn't be here. But because she has to deal with extra things on the side, if y'all want to see what she's dealing with, watch her show. It's better than Keeping Up with the Kardashians, if you want to see drama and all that. And it's really real. This is really sad. It's real in a sense, because it's like, I feel like her mom's playing a role. Like, whatever gets I'm sure she's like that, but it seems like there's always like a conclusion at the end, like, oh, Bo, like, and then it seems like it's like a episodic thing. Like, they're still dealing with the same issues over and over and over again. Like, that's not how life should be. It's very unhealthy, but yeah. And have low value in black women. And that's what Wendy, I think another thing is, I don't remember if she admitted this or if this is just my third eye, but I think her father wanted a son. And that was another reason why Wendy has low self-esteem and why she's got a hustle, like we would say a man would, quote unquote, because we live in a patriarchy, and anything that is seen as strong or powerful, we associate with men. And anything that is weak and vulnerable, we see as women. I think women are stronger. First of all, it just by going over the, if we're going to talk about Adam and Eve, and we can play that game if you'd like. We can pull the religious card and I will just sit here and talk about it. If Adam was made first and then Eve was made second, do you not want the later version of something? Like, there's the iPhone and then there's the iPhone X. So if we're the iPhone X, then you want the better upgraded version. And also, if a woman and man were to conceive a child together, and you killed the woman, and that's it, there's just her and him on the earth, they're doomed. If you kill the man, at least there's the baby that you can hope is, and it's horrible. Like, I'm not talking about incest. I'm just literally like, if we're talking about this Adam and Eve thing, how else did they produce other children but go off? So, yeah, basically she is all about lowering her value, thus lowering the value of the women she talks about on the show, and she just acts like it's normal. More recently, she's been less harsh to women, but I think that's just her trying to be better, try to better. I really do think she's trying to better herself, but she's not there yet, and she's nowhere near done. Nowhere near done. That thing where she was in her house crying and stuff, it's like, you can cry about something without you being broken, but you're at a stage. There is a stage where you cry about these things, and you're in it. Thus, you cannot say you're fixed. If you say you're fixed, you can't acknowledge the problem. You can't fix it. Stop saying you're fixed and say you are. There is something wrong. And then Lamar was talking about, oh, my wife is broken and she's broken and da-da-da-da. You're broken, dude. And there's another thing. When people lash out, like Lamar did, it's like, of course, that's what they're thinking in their minds about themselves. That is what they're thinking about in their minds about themselves. You have to understand that. And it's hard to navigate in life when people are like that, because when you try to help someone and say, you're this, they'll be like, no, you're this. And it's just like, okay, so no help? Okay, I see. But we have to all function, and that's the thing I'm saying. Like, we have people who don't want to function as a unit, and they're just like looking out for numero uno. And I don't think Wendy's like that. I think she's just stuck in it, and she needs to get out. And I don't know, she cannot be saved by any man. She can only be saved by herself, a black woman. And until she sees value in black women, she will never be out of the hole she's in. I hate that she's like that. I hate that I can't root for her all the time, because I want to uplift black women. But when you're like Candace Owens, or you're like, not saying that Wendy is anywhere close to her, but when you're like that, and there's so many other people, like B. Simone is another thing. Here we go. Let's talk about B. Simone too while we're at it. Her with that whole Valentine, like her, first of all, that whole charade she did was just, it was very pick me. It was very, I don't know. The way they say that Tiffany Haddish is, which I've never seen her like that. I just seen she's like a stereotype. But I think it's interesting that people like, may he rest in peace, and he was a good actor, but people like Bernie Mac, who fell into like the stereotype in the Bernie Mac show where he's like protective, and he's got a light-skinned wife. Like, look at his skin and look at her skin. Like, there's so many things that we could talk about, and how he treated Vanessa was very terrible, despite his says he cared about them. The way he treated Vanessa was very colorist. Like, there was so many things about how he treated her that was horrible, and how she got, the way she was treated is how she grew up. And her parent, like, she just had to grow up faster than any of them. And then the way he treated baby girl, like the youngest daughter, it was very colorist. And if they were young, if they were both the same age, I'm sure he would have treated baby girl the same exact way, and Vanessa the same exact way. So I really don't think it's because Vanessa was older that she got the shaft of the whole entire family, even when Jordan was horrible. But that's another story for another day. I'm not going to talk about Bernie Mac. I'm just saying, like, girl, it's harder for us to fall into a stereotype without us being perceived as like a pick-me, like, or any stereotype or anything. Y'all remember Little House on the Prairie? y'all remember the people who were the worst was Nellie, Nancy, and their mom. They were treated very poorly after they weren't treated like they were good actresses. They were treated like they were Nancy, Nellie, and Mrs. Olsen. They were treated poorly. But Joaquin Phoenix plays Joker, who's a killer, who's an incel, who's horrible. And he gets a standing ovation for his acting prowess. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying women cannot be stereotypes or be any sort of horrible, or else we are called that outside. Oh, you play that a little too well, but we don't say that about men. We don't. And Joaquin Phoenix proved it. Joker was the most, like, standing ovation, really. Like, y'all don't give standing ovations to the women who play roles so good that you hate them. But you can't separate the actress from her stuff when it comes to that. But you can with men. And then black women, no give. It's harder for us because, like I said, with the Bridgerton thing, with all that, if you don't have representation, it's one thing to just have someone in the background that looks like it. Like I've noticed on The Simpsons that the representation is getting very, very broader. Like there's a lot more black people in the background, a lot more black people in the background of that show. And it's great. It's wonderful. Like now, let's start working on getting some main cast very, not, okay. Let me explain something for people who really still don't understand what diversity means for us. So there's this show called Survivor. And I don't know how many people are on the show at once all the time. Okay, I don't know right now, this second. I'm not looking it up. What I am going to say is, let's have a fictitious season, right? Let's just say there's 20 people that go to the island for $1 million. They got to do things and they got to vote each other out, right? Vote each other out, right? Keep that in mind. Out of the 20 people that are going on the island, if 5 of them are women, that means the men already have an advantage over the women. And the women being on Survivor hasn't really been an issue. But let's just say it's not 5, right? But 5 of those people are different ethnicities. There are now in this fictitious season at least 7 women, right? But 5 of those people, and not all of them are women, not all of them are men, are ethnic, right? So let's just say 2 black men, 1 Hispanic man, 1 Asian woman, and 1 black woman. Now, already disadvantaged. So the black guys, this ties into the whole thinking, oh, well, regardless, black guys will follow patriarchy. They will follow patriarchy and leave black women behind. They've done that time and time again. And if you notice, a lot of black guys, black celebrities have white wives. Not even looking at anything. I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to just say Dr. Dre. We already know since he's going through that divorce thing. Jaleel White, who plays Steve Urkel. Did I do that? He didn't find Lara. He found Laura because he's got an Anglo-Saxon wife. Ice-T got an Anglo-Saxon wife. There are so many people, and it's even coming to America was kind of jacked because he was with a light-skinned woman and coming to America. I don't know. Eddie Murphy has a lot of women he's been with, and he can afford to pay for all those kids. So it's like, whatever. When God said spread your seed, he didn't say spread your seed farther than the eye can see. Like, he was just like, spread your seed sometimes. Like, but he did it all the times, I guess. But like I was saying, we're already at a disadvantage. There's everyone else is Anglo-Saxon. There's more Anglo-Saxon women and there are more Anglo-Saxon men. And it's been proven constantly on Survivor. If y'all have seen it, Jeremy and what's his face, they were all with the guys at one point. And I can give it to Jeremy that he was with Natalie until he couldn't be with her anymore. Like, he did the best he could for Natalie, and Natalie is Indian. I can't remember what his wife looked like. I'm pretty sure she was black. He's a firefighter. That was cool. But that doesn't always happen. It's most of the time these celebrities, it's another thing. It's just like, there was this black bachelor or something, or whatever, and he was like, oh, I don't feel like I should be pressured to be with a black woman. Like, no one's telling you to be with a black woman. We just know the implications to you not picking one, especially since your mom's white. And that's another thing they did with the Bachelor. It's like, I think it's interesting when they give representation to black people or Asian people. That Mortal Kombat movie, oh my gosh, I love Mortal Kombat. I hate that Mortal Kombat, they're getting older and they're having kids and stuff. It was never about that. They were never aging. It was just like a story was going on. I don't know why they're making them age and have kids, and I don't know why Jax wasn't with Sonya Blade. That's the only time I would accept the guy being with the Anglo-Saxon, because they were already in a relationship. They were in a work relationship, and how do you not get with someone at work? Like, by work, I mean, like, it doesn't have to always be at your job, but it's just like you're with someone for so long and for such a long time. I would have understood if Jax was with Sonya Blade, but Sonya went with Johnny Cage, which is another one of those things where it's just like, okay, guys, here's a little lesson for you. If you want the girl, be a jerk and keep being a jerk. Don't be nice like Jax. Be a jerk like Johnny Cage. That's all that tells me. That's all that tells me. So when I saw that commercial, I'm like, are these guys really Asian? Like, they got the most. How much you want to bet that if I look up these actors who are Liu Kang, Raiden, and Kung Lao respectively, they're not even all the way Asian. Like, they always get some Britland, black person or Asian person or Hispanic person to play us in movies. Like, I feel like they did a better job casting in the bootleg movies that they made a very long time ago, which were pretty trash. They were pretty decent for a movie made from a video game, but like, it's top tier and that's it. The bar is lower than ground floor, but these people don't look Asian. Oh my gosh. Why can't you guys just stop being blind? People are like, oh, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, put a chicken in there. It does matter. We want believability. We want, if you're going to take off the greatness and suck from the teat of someone's greatness and not make your own story, make that story entertaining as all get out. All right. I'm kind of sick of seeing King Arthur. Merlin did a very good job at changing the trope. It wasn't about Arthur. It was about Merlin and his story. And it was brilliant. The budget went up every season because it was really good and popular. Guinevere was black. There was nothing that messed up the whole continuity of the story making Guinevere black. Making Arthur black would have been different because he's Anglo-Saxon. They literally call him Anglo-Saxon Celtic in most of the things. So it's like they don't say that about Guinevere. Maybe there was someone who described her skin as porcelain or something, but porcelain can, like, I don't know. I feel like you can paint porcelain any color you want because I'd be seeing porcelain like dolls and pink stuff and porcelain teacups. So Guinevere being black didn't do anything horrible. I was just upset that all her family died. Like, I was upset that every other black person in Camelot that was related to her died. Like, that made me upset. but she was queen, and it was kind of like an equal exchange thing. I know about Full Metal Alchemist. I know the equal exchange of things, but here's the deal. Stop making things like, oh, well, here's Mortal Kombat. Raiden is kind of looking Anglo-Saxon-ish. And I hate to see Jade. I'm pretty sure they're going to make Jade Asian. And, like, if she's Asian, I would rather her be from the Philippines. Maybe have some dark skin tone, you know. I don't want to see her light-skinned. Because you got Scarlet, you've got Katana, you've got Melina, you got all these other people you can make light-skinned. The people who need to be dark-skinned is Jax and Jade. I don't know why y'all just made two. It's like, okay, that's fine. Everybody else can be Anglo-Saxon and Asian, because they were trying to, like, I don't know who came first, Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, but Mortal Kombat's bigger and better. I feel like Street Fighter is one of those things where there's a big cluster of people who like Street Fighter, but I think Mortal Kombat trumps them. I think more people dress up as Mortal Kombat characters at Comic-Con than Street Fighter. And we only see one person from Street Fighter. We see that dude that kind of looks like he was a rip-off Liu Kang, and then that girl who's got those two buns, and she wears a blue outfit. That's the only two characters I know from that Street Fighter game, and that's only because I'm into Capcom from Resident Evil, and I played Capcom versus the whatever universe, DC, I think, I can't remember. Capcom versus something. Oh, Capcom versus Marvel, because Spider-Man was in it. I don't know why they had Nemesis as a playable character. Like, out of every single person, I think it was Chris, Nemesis, and Wesker. Why didn't they do Wesker? Alexia Ashford. She was one of the best villains and she just had one game. And she's the best villain in Resident Evil history, other than Wesker. But y'all killed him. So y'all killed her too. But it's just like, I don't know. I feel like she was so great. She had three. She has like, like that whole like soundtrack was amazing. Like, y'all look it up. Look up Alexia Ashford theme 1, 2, and 3. There's 3 different themes that she has for her 3 forms. It's amazing. The score is superb. Excellent, if you will. But y'all are just going to skip Resident Evil, Code Veronica, and go to 4 because y'all want to make an action game. They want to just make an action game. That's it. Because you can literally make an action game with Resident Evil Code Veronica. There was a lot. Yeah, they really stretched the action when it came to Darkside Chronicles on the Wii. You were just going everywhere. You were bobbling your head everywhere on that game. There's only a few things in Resident Evil Code Veronica that would make you do that. Nosferatu, the dogs, which are in like every other Resident Evil game. There weren't even lickers in this. There were the hunters. The hunters ran. You would hear the feet on the ground before you saw them. Best game ever. Like, freaking fight me. Resident Evil Code Veronica was the best game. Had everything that Resident Evil is known for and more. Puzzles, BOWs, freaking great score, freaking angles that you can't see characters until they're already coming at you and you dying. They had moths that poisoned you. You had to they didn't introduce it because it was in another game, but they were continuing on the mixing the blue herb with the red herb and with the green herb to make the poison taking away from the moths that would just lay eggs in your back and you die. When they came out, you would die. You would have to get the poison out before they would kill you. It took me a very long time to finish that game. Just saying, like, I don't even know what level I had it on, but I unlocked this thing where you had to, Wesker, you get to play Wesker. It's cool, you get to play as Wesker in the time game. Oh my gosh, you guys don't understand what you're missing. This has gone off the rails. I'm just going to call this probably a current events thing again, because this is a lot. And it was kind of talking about Wendy in the beginning, but kind of went off the rails. I'm going to just say this about B. Simone. She need to be quiet, because look at her. Like, she's talking about, oh, you haven't been to the dentist in years. Like, I've had a gap. I fixed my gap. Like, it's called braces. And if you can't afford to make your book that you look like a magazine that only held together with staples, I'm pretty sure you can't afford braces either. So I understand that you're not getting it done. But the least you can do is run on a treadmill, because you are looking mighty thick, and it's not slim thick. And it's like, I don't know. Okay, I really don't know what the ideal weight for anyone is. But she just, when she was bouncing up and down, it just made me think, like, who you calling fat, talking about huffing puffing up the stairs? Like, who you talking about? Someone's dentist. You got a gap in your mouth. Eddie Murphy should have got it fixed, but he didn't, because he's known for it, and he's just like, okay, whatever. But B. Simone still got some time to get noticed and known for something. She can get her teeth fixed. It's not her mark. It's not nothing no one knows her by. Like, every other month, B. Simone goes viral for saying something stupid or doing something stupid. I forgot what she looked like. So you can get your teeth fixed. You don't have to keep the gap because you think that it's your trademark. You have no trademark yet, except that busted book that looked like a magazine and the words that you stole from somebody else. And who knew that you stole those dusty words about what a girl needs to do? Wow, we can manifest love. Like, you speak in French now. I had a Valentine's. Like, I really don't know. Like, I don't know about you, because you holding out for the baby who don't love you and who don't care about you, who don't know you from a can of paint probably, because I don't know what he is. He's on something. I can't believe he called himself the baby. Like, thank you for letting me know that you're a man-child. So I don't deal with you. And of course he wouldn't deal with me either, because I'm probably one shade too dark for him. That's fine. B. Simone is light-skinned and he still don't want to talk to you. That should tell you something. But honestly, I don't care, because it's like, I don't like either of them. B. Simone can just go. It's like, whatever. I really don't understand why, like, Wildin' Out. If she came from Wildin' Out, I understand, because Nick Cannon is just known. He is known for cannoning, like, people into the limelight that don't need to be. And him talking about all that stuff, and it's just like, okay. It's like, okay. I would have been fine if I just thought, like, it's bad enough I got to see you on The Masked Singer. I thought Wildin' Out was gone, but ridiculousness can't carry. Especially when have y'all noticed that every other episode, old girl say something kind of shady, kind of sideways racist? Like, I heard that girl, Chanel, West Coast, like, she's always been shady. CeeLo calls her out all the time, but I think that's because he's known her for a very long time. But he is still one of those guys who dates Anglo-Saxons. That's why they're friends. That's why they're so close. I'm pretty sure they were with each other maybe once or twice, maybe when they were really drunk or something. But he always pulls her and treats her like some type of way. And I don't feel any type of way about it, because she has this aura about her that even on Love and Hip Hop or whatever she was on, or something, I don't know what she was on, she was treating them like crap, and then they did it to her. So she was like, she was like clutching her pearls. But recently she's been saying some shady stuff. I can't give it I can't pinpoint one, but just watch it, and she'll say something, and then CeeLo will kind of either call her out or Rob Dyrdek will be like changing the subject or something. He'll do something. Yeah, but she's just been on one. She's been on one for a while, and it's coming out more and more. And I can't wait to see when she gets on TMZ and is called out for something, because I want to see her reaction to it, because that'll determine if she stays on ridiculousness. Because if she plays games any longer, people are poor right now. People are without power right now. People are, like, a lot of ethnic people are jobless. A lot of ethnic people, like, aren't having much more of the nonsense. And for her to sit there and not even move the thing and switch with CeeLo every once in a while and move, like, pause the show and stuff and whatnot once in a while, at least, like, I would flip every other time. Like, I would switch it up, but I guess CeeLo likes to do it or whatever. For her to just sit there and just be paid to laugh at stuff, she does not need to be racist or say anything that's can be seen as very prejudiced. The way she talks, and then the way she just, I don't know, and then how she dresses. Sometimes she dresses, there's like one outfit after, like, every season there's like one outfit I like that she has. I don't know who's dressing her, but I'd fire them. And if it's herself, then I don't know. I really don't. But I think that's it. I think I'm done. I'm working on a Bridgerton video. I don't know if I'm going to do it or not, because I really don't feel like going through this. And there's this new Bridgerton character that's coming in the second season. Why did you tell us who Miss Whistledown was if you were going to have a second season? You scrubs. You didn't take the chance. You didn't take the chance. You should have took the chance anyway. You should have took the chance anyway, because you could have just tweeted out who Miss Whistledown was if there was going to never, ever be another season. So now we already know who Whistledown is. This better be, I don't know the Bridgerton books at all whatsoever, from a can of paint to toilet water. I don't. So I don't know if the second season is going to be another book that has nothing to do with Hastings or Pastings or whatever his name is. But I really don't want to see this Dove girl anymore. I'm so sick of seeing her in awe and in shock about everything, and the fact that supposedly she rapes him while he's sleeping. And I told you I didn't watch the rest of Bridgerton because I was kind of done. I was kind of done after seeing, like, this whole, his father treat him terribly and all that, and talking about how race doesn't matter in this universe, but then it's talked about. If it doesn't matter, it's not talked about. If it doesn't matter, it's not talked about. So I really don't know why y'all said it didn't matter, because it did matter, because y'all addressed it. Just like how y'all didn't want to take a chance and you said who Miss Whistledown was. Y'all could have left that whole, we were in a separate, divided country, to yourself. Done. Like, subscribe. I got 1K on that video. People are still disliking it. I really don't know why y'all are mad. I was right. Like, a lot of Resident Evil fans are not liking this new thing where everything's kind of getting very not about zombies anymore, and that's why y'all's reboots need to be stretched out longer. We shouldn't have gotten 3 so quickly. I don't think so. I really don't, especially since y'all are continuously going on with Resident Evil 8/Village. People are saying, oh, it's not 8. They just saying it's not 8 because they want to see how we react, just like they wanted to see how we reacted to Bridgerton if they were going to make another thing. And I know they are two different days, but they are having the same conclusion. They just both want money, so they can be anybody. Freaking that's it. If you want to see that video I'm referring to that's got 1K views, I'm like moving on up. My goal is to have 100 by the end of this year, and hopefully I can do that. I stream often. I got a lot of, Wendy is sad. I hope she gets closure to her issues, and I hope that she never goes back to Kevin. I hope that nothing like that happens to her again. I think she deserves happiness, despite all the sadness she spread. I think she spread it because she had upset issues with Kevin to begin with. I really do. That whole Mortal Kombat, I really have low hopes because every video game movie isn't like all starting at ground floor. Like I really don't know why they're doing a Sonic 2. I think it's because Jim Carrey was in it and they think he can just carry. I didn't watch it, so I don't know what it really is about or if it was good or not. It just looks disgusting, just like the Pikachu movie I didn't watch. I'm not going to watch that. Like, freaking how dare you? If you're going to put Pikachu in a movie that's like that, put Ash Ketchum in the rest of them, because I want to see how black you're going to make Brock. I want to see how dark skinned you're going to make Brock. But of course y'all didn't. Like, you could, and hopefully you don't have him closing his eyes the whole time, because y'all don't know the difference between, okay, so that's just an exaggeration for the actual show versus what can we really do in reality. Because I know that if y'all ever made Brock, y'all would most definitely force someone to keep their eyes closed. Just like on Kakaguri or Hikau, whatever, that gambling anime, where y'all have that girl from that club have her eyes closed in the live action on Netflix. That live action was pretty good, but I didn't like the fact that y'all made her eyes closed. Like, she's just Asian. It's not, her eyes aren't closed for real. Y'all are stupid. Just make someone be Asian. How about that? Just let them be Asian. Let everybody be ethnic. And we'll be fine. That's it.